got? Ooh, oh, look at that. All the way out of the water. All right, guys, we're doing it today. We got me, Taku, and Nick again, dream team. We all know what happened last time, but let's see if we can get on some salmon today. This is Taku's last shot at catching salmon before the season ends. So my mission today is get Taku on some fish, and if we're lucky enough, maybe we'll get on one too. See you out in the water. All right, guys, we got the whole crew today. Taku and Nick behind me, you can probably see them in the background, and my flag, and we're gonna get it today. One new development is no fish finder. Shouldn't be a surprise to you guys, I never really have that working anyways. We're going blind, but in reality, most of the time when I catch salmon, I don't have the fish finder anyway, so feeling good about today. I think we're gonna get them. According to Nick and some of the other kayakers, the fish are coming up a lot more shallow this late in the season, which makes sense because typically the salmon go back to the river system around this time. Now they're coming up to the river system at least. And the only difference is some of these fish here are released at the Half Moon Bay Harbor. So when they come back, they're looking for a river at the Half Moon Bay Harbor because obviously that's where they started. And there's no river there, so some of them get stuck there. And perfect opportunity for us kayakers to come and pick them off. So trolling at about 15 feet right now, so we'll see. Always good to keep things moving. Try this for a little while, go deeper, go shallower, until you figure out what's working on that particular day. And that's what we're gonna do again today. See if we can get a bite. All right, guys, you can probably hear it in the background, but I'm literally headed towards a giant flock of birds. And ideally, when you're fishing for salmon, this is what you look for. Bait schooling up. And a lot of times bait is out here, but a lot of times when the birds are hitting the bait, that's a key indicator that fish are also hitting that bait, because a lot of times fish will be pushing the bait up and they'll be pushing it up far enough close to the surface where the birds can get it, because normally when the bait's farther down, they're not able to get to those anchovies, sardines, mackerel, whatever they're chasing. So good signs up ahead, and I've heard a couple of fish on the radio, so I'm feeling really good about today. I wish I could tell you how deep we are, but no fish finder today. I guess we're probably in around 70 to 80 feet of water, something like that. But yeah, definitely a lot of bird action. You'll see it coming up here in a second once we get through it. Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I think we're gonna hook up. Look at all of that. GoPro's probably not gonna pick it up as well as it could, but dude, there's just cormorants, pelicans, seagulls, shearwaters, and I don't even know what else. There's all kinds of stuff out here. What's up, little dude? Ton of these things around. I think we're on. Yep, we're on. Fish on. So there's been a lot of shakers out here today, I've heard on the radio from a few other people. So we'll see if this is a keeper. Finally got our first hit though, so that's a good sign. We'll tire him out while he's out deep. So I say this every time I'm out here for salmon. The key is keeping that steady pressure on the fish. Barbless hook, so any kind of slack is bad news out here. And so when we're on the kayak, it's nice to keep pedaling, tire the fish out when it's back there somewhere, not close to the boat, and that gives you a better chance of landing the fish. Try to crank up my downrigger as well. Okay, downrigger's up. Now we're onto the fish. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't feel that big, but you never know in these fish. Sometimes they're just swimming with the boat. And you never know. We can at least get our first fish on camera here. Getting them up close here. You can see my flasher. The fish is far behind. He's not done yet. I'm using pretty light tackle here, so don't want to pull on him too hard. Let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. All the way out of the water. And I'm pretty sure he's a keeper. Oh, it's too bad it happened on that side. Otherwise you guys would have got a good view of it there. I'm sure you heard it. Yeah, I think this is a keeper. But that's what I was saying earlier. You want to tire them out when they're behind the boat. Just jumping like that is definitely not ideal with barbless hooks. You never know, he could do it again too. There he goes. Alright, dude. Oh, there he goes. Might have saw that one. That is here. Oh yeah, that's a keeper. That's definitely a keeper. 100% keeper. Yeah, I'm getting him to come up just right. Don't jump. Okay, here we go. Got him. We did it, boys. Ooh, be in the net. Woo! So I was talking with Nick earlier, who caught one yesterday. These fish right now are super. Oh, look at that. Hook came out. I don't know how good he was hooked, but it wasn't very good because once it got in the net, it came off. But anyways, what I was saying is, I was talking with Nick earlier in the day, who caught one yesterday, and right now these fish are super fat because they're just gorging on these anchovies out here. And let me see if I can show them to you guys. You know what? I want to get on the string. And that's a quality, I'd say probably about 23 inches, something like that. Let's measure them right now, just to make sure. About 25.5 inches. So yeah, probably right around 4 or 5 pounds, something like that. Here, like I said earlier, there's hatchery fish and wild fish. This is a wild fish because it has that adipose fin right there. And yeah, the hatchery fish, they clip that just to indicate that it is from a hatchery. And I say it every time, but super important out here in California. You're looking for king salmon or Chinook salmon, and there you can identify that by the black gums. It's probably hard to see there. Not the top of the roof, or the roof of the mouth, but on the bottom. You might be able to see a little bit there. But yeah, anyways, that's how you know it's a king salmon. That's getting away here. Alright, so there we go. Fish number 1, we'll bleed him, put him in the cooler, and keep at it. Look for number 2. Always a good problem when you got scales everywhere. This one kind of fooled me. I thought he was a shaker. He wasn't really fighting very much on the outside, but then once it got in close, that's when it really found its second wind, I guess you could say. Jumped clean out of the water once, and then another time just rolled over here on this side. Always want to check your line afterwards, see if there's any frays, especially when you're using light tackle like I am today. Looks like we're okay though. I'm gonna just get this one right back down there. Another tip I'd give you guys, Make sure you wash off your wetsuit after you're going fishing. I usually do, but for some reason this last time I just didn't get around to washing it, and yeah. There's not going to be any boats or kayaks within a good 100-yard radius of me due to this. It's like a combination of sweat, fish, and salt water all mixed together and then set like in a incubator for a week. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I mentioned in my last video that I was gonna go on this epic trip with a couple other YouTubers. This is actually not the one that I was talking about. I was planning to do another trip with a couple other people. I just won't mention it yet. We're still planning to do it, but unfortunately the weather was not too good the last time we were planning to, so it blew us off the water. But stay tuned for that video. Like I said, still coming. It's gonna be a good one. Oh, it's a salmon. Look at that. Oh, there's number 2. This is definitely a lot smaller than the first one, but another sign that there's fish around, so that's good. And these are definitely a lot more fragile fish than your rock fish and everything, so you don't want to touch them at all. Very minimal contact if you can. Avoid netting them if you know they're a shaker like this one. And so this we're just gonna get right back in the water.
All year you've been fishing bottom, so that's where you get them.
Boom, just like that. Perfectly healthy, good to go, and maybe we'll catch him again in a few years when he's a 20-pounder. So. Alright guys, not really a true catch and cook, but here's the final product of that salmon. Teriyaki in Dara Fishing secret teriyaki sauce. Threw it on the barbecue, grilled on both sides in about 5 minutes. Doesn't take that long. And in fact, you don't want to cook very long since it'll dry out if it's too long. And yeah, we'll give it a quick taste here. So, unfortunately, we weren't able to get Taku his first salmon out on the kayak, but this one's for you, bro. We'll get him next year. Thanks for watching.